I'll be looking into what I'm going to talk about, the skill set that you need for your success in your business. The skill set you need. Of course, in business, we need lots of different skill sets, but there are also some skill sets which are very important to have, that you cannot ignore those ones. So I've been focusing on some of them because sometimes as marketers, like yesterday, the reason why I come with this, like yesterday, I'm a member of some Facebook groups, mainly based on business. So we normally like discuss, people ask questions, they want to know what is the problem they are going on, the struggling they are experiencing. They will maybe post a question or about it. Then they want help or direction or guidance for what to do. So, but some of these groups I've noticed, some have been really going through a lot of different struggling. So I decided to bring this topic up today. Yeah. And the reason why I decided to bring this topic up, I really admire at some of these marketers who they always ask questions, which is very, very good. But the topic for today is why most people are not asking questions. Why most people are not asking questions. The reason, because most people don't ask questions because sometimes it gets to do with their ego, or maybe because of pride, or maybe they are thinking because of what other people will think about them, the judgments, and all kind of different stuff going on in their head that makes them don't want to ask questions the way other people will see them. But I can say this with all due confidence that this description that I've given just now, because at one point this was someplace that I've also been in, because for a very long time I didn't like to ask questions because I don't want like people to think of me or say, why are you asking such question, such stupid question? I thought maybe you will be like way further, you asking this kind of questions. And this is not like that it happens, not like someone asked me or I had someone saying this, but this was just something that was going on in my head, what I was thinking. And because I had all this crazy thinking in my head, it's kind of like stopped me, because I have all these assumptions that this is what people will be thinking. So it makes me stop asking questions. And there is a problem to that when you stop asking questions, yeah? But as we go along, you will have to bring out why. I'll have to bring out the reason why it is very, very important to ask questions. Good evening, Matilda. You're very welcome this evening. How are you and the kids as well, and your husband? I hope you guys, I hope you guys have a lovely day today. Yeah. And because I stopped asking questions, I noticed certain changes, yeah? But one thing you have to know is that there is no stupid questions. The only stupid question there are is the ones that have not been asked. That's what I would say, because there is no stupid question on earth. No matter how someone asks the question, no matter in what situation you ask the question, there is no stupid question on the earth. Because sometimes you can sit and be thinking, oh, this question I want to ask, it sounds silly, it's a stupid question. No, it's not a stupid question. It's just the way you're thinking, because humans, we are made, we have different way of thinking, we have different way of understanding things. So when you're maybe in certain situation, you're trying to figure out something, you have all kind of questions going on in your head. So it's not a stupid question, because that's the way you are thinking. And maybe you are not the only one thinking as that same kind of thought in that particular situation. So question is part of our learning process. It's very important to know. When we ask questions, the more we ask questions, the more we learn. It's just like small children. When they ask you why, you explain to them. They will come with another why. They will come with another why, or maybe how. That's how they learn. Because you see, children, sometimes we say children, they are fast learner. Because they ask questions, they want to know, they are curious. That's how they learn. So at some point, we can also become like children. That we should never stop asking questions, you know. And come to think of it, you may like ask a question that somebody else is thinking about. You don't know. But maybe they don't want to like be in front. They don't want to ask this question because they don't want to be in the front. They don't want to put their names out there. Or maybe they don't want to do something for some reason. They don't want to ask questions. But when you ask a question and you take it upon yourself, when you ask a question and you take it upon yourself to ask to help someone to get to answer to their question, yeah, and to what they need, it can like push this person forward. When you take upon yourself, sometimes maybe you can see someone is struggling with something, so you can ask them. Good evening, Elizabeth. You are very welcome this evening. Good evening, Antonio, as well. You are very, very welcome this evening. So you can ask them, you can see what they are struggling with, what they are going through. So you ask questions. That's why, like, for example, with coaches, they are always trained not to give a direct answer. They are trained to ask questions, even though sometimes... I'm fine, Elizabeth. How are you? Thanks for joining me this evening. With coaches, they are not allowed, even though sometimes they can see they already have the answers. Instead of giving the answers, they can formulate the answer into a question, because that will help the individual to start thinking for themselves. Good evening, Mabinti. Bintu, how are you? Welcome this evening. It helps them to think for themselves, to trigger their thinking process. That's why question is very, very important in our learning, in our growing, yeah? But okay, thank you. I will keep going. Thank you. You know, but when you ask a question and you take it upon yourself, like I said, to help someone get their question answer to what they need, it can help to push them forward in their business. You know, maybe the answer will like give them the wow moment, you know. I've never thought about it that way, or I've never think of it that way. And it can change their life forever. It is very, very important. Yeah. Good evening, Eleanor. Thank you for joining. And then, you know, you will want to ask where the question is coming from. Because sometimes it's not only asking the question, but you want to know the background, you know, why this person is asking this question. Why? Because you will not just ask question, you want to know why the person is asking this question. With this thought in mind, it can be easier for you to take this person to the next stage or to help them find the answer. They have to find the answer, but you help them to get to that point. You know, because a lot of times we will ask a question and we will like kind of like wait for the response before we can take action. It happens most time, especially like maybe in your business or whatever, you're doing something, then you have this question that pops up in your mind. Maybe you ask somebody, then you get stuck. You don't move until you want answer to that question, then you can move, yeah? So, but it doesn't have to be that way. So we have to be like cautious of why the question is being asked. So that the person doesn't get stuck, even though the person have that question in they've asked, yeah, and trying to wait for the answer. Because always it's very important. You always have to have like a list of other things to do to fill in that space, to fill in that space whilst you're waiting for the answer, so you don't get stuck in whatever you're doing. So you can be doing something else whilst waiting for the answer to your question. Because I've done that before, where I ask a question and then I can't go further because I want the answer before I can move, which like maybe days will go by without me doing anything, without me taking any action. Then I start to like kind of find all kind of excuses to justify my reason for not taking action, my reason for like waiting. And this will like kind of slow you down. It will slow your progress down. And so you just like kind of like have this thought in mind. Keep this in mind, that if you have a question, don't wait. Make sure you have other list of things you can do whilst you're waiting for that question, so that you can continue with that particular thing that you have been you've been doing, that you have this question on. But always make sure you have a list of other things that you can keep going. So where can you find answers to your questions? Because it's very important. Sometimes some people don't know where they can find answers to their question. They rely on asking other people, maybe like, for example, in marketing, in network marketing, they will rely on asking their upline for questions. And maybe the upline have many others to assist as well. Then by the time he has assist all those ones coming to you, time has really gone. So that's why it's very important for you to know, to try to be independent, to find your answer. Yeah. Well, I would say let Google and YouTube be your best friend. As a marketer, let Google and YouTube be your best friend. You can virtually search for everything on this platform. For me, that's what I always do. When I have questions I cannot really find answer to, these places become my best friend. In a sense, I always go there to find out things. You will always get your answers to any of this platform. Because here is another thing to keep in mind. Like when you are able to find your answer, it is empowering. What you have to keep in mind, when you are able to find your answer yourself to your question, it is very empowering, because you become like suspicious, which is really cool. You become like suspicious, you want to know more. Yeah. And secondly, you can like create a content out of that. You create like content out of this question you had before, and then you can write about it, like maybe the process you went through and the answer that comes out of it. Because most of the time, the questions you have, you're not the only one who have those questions. There are many other people who also have questions like this going on in their mind. And when you create a content out of this, it really will help many others to see, okay, so that's why, so this is the answer to this question, or this is how I should do this thing. So they have this wow moment when you do that as well for them, and this, in this way, you are like managing your own time, and then you are creating the mindset, your mindset, so that you don't like just rely on others or somebody else to give you the answer. So when you have your question, you do research about it yourself, immediately what will happen, it becomes empowering for you. And you begin to see that your mindset begins to change. So it's very important to think of that. But if you literally don't know how to find the answer, because there are some questions that you cannot really know how to find, especially like if it gets to do with some technical issues. You cannot just go and be able to really find these things. So you will need a professional help as well, someone who has already been there and done that. It's okay to ask those questions, but you never get stuck to waiting for the answer. Yeah, it's better to ask a question than don't ask a question at all. Yeah. So, what kind of questions can you create? What kind of questions is it okay to be asking? You know, the funny thing about question is we can do self-sabotaging questions. Self-sabotaging question like saying, why am I not getting, for example, in online marketing, why am I not getting leads? Why is this person doing this? Why isn't my blog or my website working properly? Why can't I find the answer to these questions? Why other people are able to find answers for their questions? Or you can say, why is this person not responding back to me? Or, you know, these are self-sabotaging questions, because what's going to happen is, even though we want the answer to all these questions, and when we get these answers, it's like we feel like things gotta be better, but still, it's a negative mindset, this type of question. Why am I not getting this? Why am I not experiencing this? Why this person is not? These are self-sabotaging questions, and it's negative for our mindsets. If you just hear even the tone, if you ask yourself questions like just hearing the tone in your voice, it tells you it's a self-sabotaging question. It's a negative way of asking question. So instead of asking question those ways, it's better you ask, how can I get more leads? How can I improve my way of thinking, for example? Or where can I get more leads? Or you can say, what do I need to do? What do I need to learn to create my blog or my website that I desire? Or what kind of person do I need to become? Or what kind of education do I need in order to become the leader people are looking for? So asking yourself this kind of question, how can I generate more leads on Instagram? What is the best way to do it? So when you ask question like this, it triggers you to find the answer, because it's a positive way. How can I? Then it's a positive way of asking question than asking, why can't I? Or why didn't I? So we have to change the way we ask question. When we ask question in the positive way, this will help us to even, it will trigger us to want to find the answer for ourselves. It is very, very important to remember this, because you see, when you start asking yourself questions like this in an empowering way, because this, I call them empowering way of asking question, your mind is gonna look for the answers anyways when you ask this. So start with the empowering question. Your brain will like begin to go crazy to find more answers that you have. Exactly, Elizabeth. It will motivate you to do. It will motivate you to do something. It will motivate you to take action. That's the whole thing of asking question in this format. So when you say why don't I, then it's like you're giving the power to somebody else to find the answer for you. But when you ask yourself, how can I do this? How can I move forward? How can I do this thing? Then for me, that's how I always ask myself. I enter into YouTube or Google, I do research about it. What I come up with, I always make sure I don't just like keep it to myself. I create content, come with it on Facebook Live. Or maybe if someone is on video or you're doing blogging, you can also write a short article. Oh, I had this question I've been thinking about, and then this is the answer to it. It's just like myself, when I was in the groups, I find out these questions, a lot of different questions has been coming. I find out it's very, very good that people are asking questions, but at the same time, there are also a lot of people who are not asking questions because of pride or ego or the thought of how other people will think about them. Or sometimes the way they ask these self-sabotaging questions that's like kind of stop them from progressing, stop them from moving forward. And when you have this break in your business, it is very, very dangerous, because at some point it's gonna weaken it's gonna weaken you, and you will not have the motivation to go forward. And before you notice, you quit your business. That is why a lot of people are quitting their business, because of when they get stuck in certain thing, they don't know how to figure out, they go. So it's very important, when you get stuck or when you have a question, Google, YouTube, they give you the answer. Just put in any keyword to the question. How can I generate lead? How can I build my blog? Or whatever is the question. Just even few words. You can have lots of different videos on YouTube or a lot of different articles on Google that will give you exactly what you need or how you need to go about what you're asking for. It is very, very important. And that's where you will start to experience progress in your business. Your business will begin to skyrocket when you start asking yourself questions this way. Then you don't have to rely on other people or somebody else to give you the answer, or wait, because then that is wasting your time. So because time is money, time is value. Because for me, every second is very, very important for me. I don't waste all those time. Every second there must be something, some kind of action I'm taking, something I'm doing positive to grow my business, to grow my self-development. So all the time we have to do things like this. It will help you to have it. You will have the power in your hand, and your empowerment of and your skill set of your personal growth will improve a lot. And you will also try to help others as well. When someone, like if you're a team member, someone asks you question, it is very important to tell them, you know what, I would like for you to do research on YouTube or Google, and then let's discuss about this. Thank you, Papa. And let's discuss about this. Do research about it and let's discuss about this. And then you are giving the person the tool, you are empowering the person to trigger them to start taking action independently. And at some point, when you continue to do that, exactly, your knowledge will be your power. So true, because knowledge is something no one can take away from you. When your knowledge is there, you can help others. When your knowledge is there, you can grow very fast. You don't need to wait for anyone. So it is very, very important that our way of asking question, we have to ask the empowering way. How can I? Then it will give you this motivation to really move forward. It is very, very important, especially for uplines who have team members who have their downline in network marketing. This will be something very, very important for you to train your distributors on when they ask you questions, because all the time, like me, the network marketing I am, it's seldom I call my upline. All the time, he will call me and ask, oh, you don't have a question? Is there something you want me to do for you? I says, no, I'm fine in things and this. But maybe as we are talking, and then maybe some question can prop up in my mind, and I says, oh, wait, I want to ask this. Then he will say, I'll get back to you. But by this time it tells me I'll get back to you, in my mind, I'm going to check YouTube or Google. So by the time he gets back to me, I already figure it out. So most of the time, he always tell me, you are so easy to deal with because you make things easy for me, because then I don't want to depend, or not depend, but like to waste my time. So I always find ways to get my answers and just move forward. So if you do that for your downline, it will make your own time, your own life very easy. You will begin to experience your time management a lot, and you will have more time to do other things for yourself, to develop your own business, as well as giving them the empowerment to develop their own business as well. Because then you are training them. When they also have their downline, they will also do the same thing. And that's how it goes further. Yeah, so this is all I have for you friends today, that we never stop asking questions. We should become like kids who ask a lot of questions. When they ask you why, you give them answer, then they have another why, they have a why, they have how. So we should continue to ask ourselves these questions, and our knowledge will grow drastically. Yeah, and then you get your power in your hand, so you don't give it to somebody else. Yeah, so this is all I have for you today. I want to thank you all who joined in. Elizabeth, Edith, Fofi, Bintu, Elena, let me see, let me scroll down. Antonio, Matilda, Mr. Willie, Fatmata, Sandra, Violet, all of you that join in, that I'm not, yeah, all of you that join in, I want to thank you all for viewing this. I hope you get value. If you do, I would love for you to like, comment, and share, and also share with your team members, your company, your business partners, your Facebook groups, if you're in a Facebook group, if you have a Facebook group for your business, and your timeline or your personal page, or your what is it called, your business page or your fan page, however you call it, you share it with them so that it too can have this value, and it can help them to progress in their business as well. Yeah, so I thank you all for joining in, and also you are those of you who will be watching the recording, or maybe you're watching the recording later, I want to welcome you and thank you all for joining, and I appreciate if you also do the same so that others can benefit from this. So I'm gonna call it for a day. So you all have a wonderful evening, and bye for now.